Episode 16. What's up? I got a bunch of stories. I've got a bunch of topics, really. I don't know how much of them is actually going to be made to the podcast because there's going to be some ranting, some shit that I might say is going to be like, I don't know. And then I'm going to review the comedy show from this weekend. First, that's what I'm going to start with, the cob review, because it's the most recent. It's the comedian was Ginger Billy. Going into it, I had no idea who this guy was. I was just like, okay, well, he looks like it's a very stereotype. Like it's gonna be easy to stereotype what the crowd's gonna look like. And I mean, we were kind of right on that, to be fair. But the guy himself, I didn't see him on the last night because I was just like, bro, it was my 7th show working that week, and I was like, I'm fucking tired of seeing comedy. I was like, I want to go home so bad. So I was able to go home with Garrett. He went home early as well, and I was like, hey, shout out to the coin toss, but we didn't even have to do it. But the crowd was, dude, I described it as a country TikTok crowd, because you can bring like the Donnie Bakers, you know, that's a country crowd, but then you can have the branch off of the country arc where it's like, hey, but these people are country and they're very like how they act and just who they are, they're a country person, but they're TikTok also. That's how they figured out about the show, and that says a lot about the crowd if they came from TikTok or if they came from YouTube. There's all the different. I've talked about this in previous episodes, but this was a country TikTok crowd, and it didn't help that the opener nonstop would talk to the crowd, and he would kind of do it in like a wannabe like Ian Bag kind of situation where he would lead them into the bits, but then he wouldn't be able to control the crowd. So that at a certain point, they were just yelling back out to him. And to me, I hated that because that's not what we're used to. That's not what it should be for a comedy show. You shouldn't rely on your fucking audience to be like, let's make this a good show. Yes, help me. Ask you random questions, and then some of them don't even give him anything, and he doesn't know how to react back. And it was just very awkward. But since he started the show with that, it didn't. I guess usually where they go, maybe it'll give them the effect of like, oh, I talked, and so now it's already out of their system, so they think they're helping because they're like, all right, bet I got the audience to talk and interact with the crowd, so maybe whenever Ginger Billy gets on, they're not going to do it. And that might be the opener's mindset behind it. But that's just not how it works, because now you have the crowd talking, and they think whenever Ginger Billy gets on, the second he goes to do some type of crowd work, everyone's just going to be like, oh, I want to be the one to get in the clip. You know what I'm saying? And I went to his Instagram. It's like, okay, this is a theater act, I feel like, because, oh my gosh, it was sold out almost every single show. Well, okay, I will say every show was sold out, and then they added a last minute one on. Okay. I'm about to start. This is where I'm about to start ranting too. Oh my! I didn't even think about like processing this, saying this on the podcast. Listen to this bullshit, okay? And I'll say this respectfully to comedy club owner. You know, love the comedy club, and I guess respectfully to Ginger Billy as well, because they're all just getting their money where they can. And I was asked if I wanted to work, and I said yes, not thinking of what the day was, not thinking of how plans were going to play out, what time it would be, until the day of. I realized, I was like, oh shit, I have to work a matinee for Ginger Billy on Mother's Day. This is insane to me. I had to go in at 3:30 p.m. to the comedy club for a 4:30 show. I was out at dinner for Mother's Day. Not dinner. Well, I guess it was like lunch. Yeah, I was out at Mother's Day lunch. And I got my food, and I had to immediately ask for a box and put it in the box and just had to go home. I was like, this sucks. But we got, I mean, fucking The Sunday show was the only one that wasn't sold out. It was Mother's Day, but it was still so much more than we were all expecting. It was a lot of people. It was like 140, I think. I don't know if I'm supposed to say numbers, but I was like, dude, this is a good payout for a last minute ad on Mother's Day. But still, the amount of mothers that came in and they had their whole damn near family that were with them, and the entitlement that was thrown around was insane. And there was already a sort of an entitlement of like, I've never been here before, so I think I'm just paying you all and I get to come in here, sit wherever I want, and then talk and do whatever I want, like how I would be looking at a TikTok screen. But that's just not how it works. That's not how, I don't even know if that might be the first cut, but that's just not how most comedy shows work that I've worked in that comedy club. So I'm not going to let this dude that comes in with no shoes on, no socks on, overalls that are cut with like booty short height, no shirt under the overalls. He's very red, like he's just got fresh from a tan. He's jacked. He's like fucking yoked, and he's very red on his skin, like he just got like a bad tan outside, but it was 3 days in a row and it didn't fade. I'm not, and then they come in, and then the crowd he brings in is like that type of the stuff that he makes jokes about. I will say they follow right along with it, and I'm not shitting on them for like the content he's making jokes about and like how he is and who he is, but it's the how they act in a place they've never been is what fucks with me, because it's like, dude, you've like audibly said out loud that this is your first time here. And then later on, you go and act like a jackass, and you're like, dude, you, what are you doing? So whenever you go places for the first time, you just act like a fool, and then you do whatever you want. No, this is a comedy club. It's literally the easiest thing that you could do. You walk up, you give us your last name, you go to your seat, you laugh, you have a good time, you drink, you get up, you leave. And you coin toss if you risk going home or you get an Uber. Either way, there should be no hiccup along the way, but people just come in and they have to be in charge. And that is pretty much a lot of the summary of his crowd. It was like, we'd walk up and be like, hey, excuse me, make sure you're whispering so you're not interrupting the show, please. And they would just look at me and they'd be like, huh? And I'd be like, oh, so I just look back and I'd say it a little louder, because I can't just yell it. Because if I'm yelling, then I'm being the problem too. I'm interrupting the show. So I'm trying to set the example and be like, not too loud, but I'm like, you all can, if you need to talk, you can whisper at your table. Just please don't interrupt the show. And then they'll just be like, okay. And then the looks they give you. Because then you'll go back and I'll stand by the corner and where I was previously, start watching over the crowd. In my peripheral, I can feel them burning a fucking into my skull, just staring at me. And I'm just like, I have to, like, at this point I've steered this way looking at the crowd, so I have to look. And this happened this weekend. So I'm looking back. I'm about to get to where she is. I can still see her fucking looking at me. And I get to her, and then she's just like posted looking at me. I'm like, what do you fucking enjoy the show? You fucking stupid. What, you're gonna ruin the rest of your show that you paid money for because you don't know how to stop talking? But they're used to a screen being this close to their face, and then not someone to tell them, like, correcting them for being too loud. So they're just like, oh, I can do whatever I want. Oh, that shit was funny. Oh, that's so like you. But then they're just saying it loudly. I'm like, dude. Ginger Billy was so loud on the mic already. Like, it was up loud as shit, and he screams into it. You know, like, so, like, at a certain point, if you go over his voice, there's a problem. It's just, I don't. His crowd was very irritating. And I know people that like him. So, like, I'm not shitting on him, like, his full fan base. But whenever you go to Kentucky, a damn near a hot spot for the shit that he's spewing, man. I mean, you're gonna pull out some people. And plus, I worked, let's see, yeah, 6 shows in a row of just his shows. So I saw all sorts of varieties of his audience. And I saw the first hand of like, oh, I don't know who this is, but we're gonna experience it. And then it's like, oh, we should not have experienced this. It's not for everybody, I will say. But he was funny. Ginger Billy was funny. He's a good guy too. That's what hurts the most. He's a really nice guy. But it's just, I've said it multiple times on this podcast. If you can be the nicest dude in the world, your crowd can fucking suck. It's just, that's how it is. That's not really his fault, I guess. Maybe. I don't know about that. But he was a good guy. He was funny. His crowd was not, it was not good. And it was a good show overall. Like, the first 3 shows, I didn't hit the stage of just like, gosh, okay, this is like, wrap it up, please, let's get this over with. The last 3 shows, I would shoot myself in the foot to be like, yo, I gotta go to the hospital, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just stand here. That's not a thumbs up such scenario. I need to figure out if I can like turn that off or something, because it's too distracting. It just be cutting me off sometimes. But like, for example, I'm about to just use that as a transition to go straight to the next one. Man, okay, it's gonna be a ramble tone, and I ranted about this on an Instagram account of mine. But I'm gonna say it on here because I was like, fuck it. I still feel the exact same way, and I feel the same way about him as well. It's a ramble tone. Ethan Klein. H3. I know people watching this like H3. I like having this up, but it keeps falling. I don't know why. There was a lot of stuff going viral on Twitter, X, whatever. And it was just, whenever you go to the trending section, sometimes it'll give like a little description below. But most of the time, it's just like a person's name. And the name was Ethan Klein. And I was like, oh, geez, what did he do? So I clicked it. And the first post that popped up, and this is in the top section, so on the far left section, it was a viral post with like, I don't know, probably like 45,000 views, a bunch of retweets, and a bunch of replies. And the post was about Ethan Klein tweaking out on drugs and just being like reckless and just going on video with it. And AKA, it was a clip of his podcast, and bro has Tourette's, and he was going through like he was anxious, he was nervous, he was thinking about a bunch of steps ahead in his head. So like whatever sentences he was saying, he was going to be prepared, but it took a lot of thought process to do it. Whatever it was, that's what, he has Tourette's. That's what causes tics. And everyone was saying he was doing hard drugs. And I was reading all these replies, dude, and I was just getting so salty because I saw people being like, bro, he has Tourette's, but that's not even what Tourette's is. And I was like, me reading this, I'm getting very frustrated, knowing I can't do anything, because if I reply, I'm going to look like a fucking dork. But it's also just very sad to think that, like, people out there think all that Tourette's is just, like, the fuck shit damn on shuffle, like, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to find some sort of reply that was like, nah, man, this is, like, you know, even somewhat accurate. And I probably went between 3 or 4 posts. Couldn't find anything. And then I found something else that he was going viral for, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. But I was like, yeah, fuck. I don't like to do that much. But I will stand on the hill that he's not publicly not giving a fuck, and he's like yacked out, and he's just doing hard drugs. You can tell, even in the clip that he was in, the second he starts to like, so once he processes what he's about to say, he's not really ticking because he's like everything's covered in his head, everything's all good. He doesn't have to think further to say the sentence in his head. He says that sentence. That's whenever the tics start because now he has to think of, all right, what else do I say? And then by the third or fourth sentence, he's gonna be doing some actual fucking, you know what I'm saying? I will say he was freaking out on camera. He was definitely getting real like anxious or something on camera. So that's why his tics were going crazy. But he wasn't doing hard fucking drugs though. I was like that, and he's been doing that for so long, dude. He's been so vocal about Tourette's, and like the post that I put on Instagram, I had a list of people that also had Tourette's. I need to pull that post back up, dude. Oh, because man, the amount of people that you wouldn't realize have Tourette's, but they actually do. It's insane. Trying to get the list up, but then I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a new list, but I was seeing if there was enough to make a list of 50. And they pulled a list, and I was like, holy hell. But there's a lot of them, like Dan Aykroyd, Billie Eilish, just a bunch of people that even talk about it, like, you know, in interviews and stuff. A bunch of them are, they have it, but then they haven't, like, talked about it publicly, but then they'll do one interview, and then that's what that pulled up. Then after that, they're like, but they've never expanded on how it is with tics or anything like that. So not a lot of people talk about it, which means a lot of them are probably doing the zombie method, which is you take Tourette's medicine and then you feel like a zombie all day until you drink like 3 Red Bulls, and then you have a little bit of energy for like probably 5 hours, and then you're just like right back to bed like this, and you want to kill yourself, and it's crazy, dude. But hey, if you don't want to do tics, you do what you gotta do, man. I don't think he was on hard drugs. I think he was tweaking out off of being nervous from whatever scenario he was publicly in, or he knew he was about to get in trouble for online, and he was going to defend himself in whatever sentence he was saying. And he was in the middle of a debate with what's his name, and I mean, that can get heated alone. You know what I'm saying? So he was probably just tiptoeing, trying to think 3 or 4 sentences ahead, which causes a lot of like thought process, really. And that's damn near what causes tics. So you have Tourette's, you're in that scenario, you're gonna tweak out. That's really how it is. But that was me rambling. This next one, oh my gosh, dude. This was so weird. It's a taste of content, technically. So I guess like the content is 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼𝙇𝙎 stream. And this specific one, I just needed to talk about it because it felt like it was so PR for what it's not really. Okay, he went to an after party from the Met Gala, and it was hosted for by, yeah, no, it was Pharrell Williams. All right. Anyways, he pulls up, and the entrance is very like there's people that are directing him like go that way, or some would go that way, but everyone would go this way. Then they go through like this dark, weird tunnel because everything it's live. It's live. He has a flashlight over the camera. The cameraman does, CB, and he was just walking, filming all these people that were not expecting a camera with flashlights to just pull up with a live stream. And maybe they did expect it. Maybe because he was supposed to be hosting. Because they were okay. The entire event was rich people Uno. They were playing Uno, which is why I'm like, this was all fucking this is not what an after party is for Pharrell Williams at a Met Gala. I guarantee this is not what a normal one would be in the past 6 or 7 years. If you went 6 years ago, would they be doing an Uno party? A rich person Uno with there was people there that weren't famous. They were rich. Some dude said to Kai on stream, I don't know why I'm here. Dog, What the fuck you mean you don't know why you're there? But then as CB was because he had it on Kai, but then I guess he was a little curious too, because he would kind of just like move the camera around a little bit. He showed this dude, this security guard, against the door, standing against and it wasn't even a door. It was like he was standing against the door opening, but there was a black curtain, and he was standing in front of it, real like, hey, look, no one gets behind this door, I swear. And it was a big, tough dude. Some girl walked up and like tapped him on the shoulder, and he was just like, all right. And then she fucking went in, went right back in front, and I was like, oh, so that's where the after party is. What this is the marketing event. This is everyone's going and they're talking, they're exchanging names and numbers, and they're doing the social media shit. The behind the curtain, and because they were in this one area, he would walk between like rounds pretty much, and every now and then Kai would just look at the camera and be like, "Bro, this is so weird. Like, why am I here?" And then the actual person that was hosting, he would be on the microphone saying the rules for Uno, and you're like, who doesn't know how to play Uno? What is happening? But then CB would show the tables of motherfuckers just playing Uno. And of course they're going to play because the winner would get like crazy prizes. It was like crazy watches. There was a bunch of shit. And the whole event was just very marketing, PR. He would walk up to somebody, some girl would walk up to him, and they would all just exchange, oh, I'm so and so, I'm so and so, this is my Instagram, blah, 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 or I do this, I do that. And then he would have like actual famous people pull up. Like he met Future. And then it's like, what the fuck? But then he had to walk through so the way the building was, it had to have been like a weird ass shaped building, because he would show Kai walking between bodies because it was fat. He would like just shoving between people, but then as he would get around some corner, there'd be some big tall two dudes, and he would go right through them because I mean he's Kai Cenat. He's the host of the party. So he walked through, and now it's an actual bar area, and it's not where they're playing Uno, because he's like, Future's not playing fucking Uno, you know what I'm saying? But it's also not he's not at a party. He's with his homies. He's got his like squad surrounding him, and they're at a booth, and I guess they're just drinking and chilling maybe. But Kai tries to walk up to him, and it's fat. He can't get through. And guess who helps him and walks up to him, and he's like, yo, I can get you to meet Future. Jaden Smith. And he's like, yo, what? Jaden Smith? And he starts freaking out because it's Jaden. And then there's another guy with Jaden, but I don't know who that is. And they pretty much was like, oh, yeah, no, I got you. Jaden walked over, and he tried to get him at first, but he was like, hey, he's not trying to be on camera. And CB's a real one for this, because Future pulled up to the Met Gala with a different hairstyle. And it kind of went viral on social media. And I guess whenever they were walking, because I'm trying to tell you how odd it looked. This is a after party. Everyone's chilling and talking. There's no one just out with like their phone out recording on live or anything. But then you see CB with the camera walking up, and it's got a fat ass flashlight showing. I mean, it's bright as fuck. You just see people just looking back at it because they're spooked. They're like, oh shit, I'm on camera. And then he asks like Jaden, or someone asks something, and he leaked a little bit of some stuff, like a project or something. And they thought he was recording. And he was like, oh shit, you're streaming? He was like, yeah. And so most people probably didn't realize there was a live stream happening. They thought he was recording probably. But they walk up to Future's table, and the bodyguard's tweaking. He's like, yo, he said he doesn't want to be on camera. He's like, no, it's cool. I'll just, all right, but we could link later though, right? And then he's like, yeah, he's not trying to be on camera right now. He starts to walk away, and you see Future be like, yo, and he reaches up, and Kai freaks the fuck out. He's like, Future! It's so embarrassing. I was like, oh my gosh. But he dapped him up, and then CB has the camera fucking with the flashlight pointed it right at Future. I was like, oh, you're crazy. All you see is Future kind of shy back a little bit, but it was cool as fuck to see those two linking for the first time, and then immediately Future was like, yeah, we gotta get you on a song. And I was like, I don't know about that. You're not gonna get him on like some, maybe as like an ad lib or something, like an intro or outro or something, but a feature, I don't know. I feel like there's other people in N.A.P, but oh, I wonder if Phantom left N.A.P. I guess I can talk about this real quick, because this is just like a little sidetrack, but A.N.P is the group that 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼𝙇 is in. It's like 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6. I think 5 of them. And I talked about them on the podcast before. They have this big house together. 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼 bought a second house that's right beside theirs, filled with his side friends. So now they're just one big, huge group making content together. But then Phantom out of nowhere was like, man, they didn't realize what I did for them, and he was saying a bunch of that stuff like how they wronged him and stuff on Twitter, and he removed all the A.N.P stuff like from his name. I don't know if it was in his name because his name was just Phantom maybe, but I did see that he the before and after what he removed. I think it was just in his bio maybe, I can't remember. But then A.N.P posted a trailer, and it was about them doing like go-karts or something, like Mario Kart, and I was like, yo, that shit looks lit. But then Phantom was in as Bowser, and I was like, yo, they pulled the Kanye skit. I was like, that's crazy. They just made some PR moves, and then they dropped the trailer for Project, and then it probably went crazy, and they were like, yo, we got the move, there we go. And then Phantom's gonna be in it, because he never left A&P. It was all marketing. I was like, oh my gosh. But back to this party, because I'm trying to tell you how weird it was. At first, I didn't know what I was actually watching. I just saw Kai was live. Nothing else that I watched all the content that I would usually watch. There was nothing else that was new, and I was like, oh shit, well, I guess I'll watch a little bit of Kai's stream. Tuned in, and he was getting ready for an after party for the Met Gala. And in my mind, I was like, yo, I'm trying to see what happens at an after party for a Met Gala, especially one from Pharrell Williams. I was like, yo. Then I realized, okay, this is like the marketing, like PR, like, hey, look, this is what the after party is. There was a point where Kai looked at the camera and was like, I want to go to the real after party. And I was like, so he knows, he understands all what's happening right now. It's like, damn, I want to see what happens there too, dude. I really do. Because I would assume it's like 5 to 10% of a Diddy party, and then like 100 times whatever the current party that Kai was at is in. You know what I'm saying? Because like there would be music playing that's not like he would be I hear, what song is that? But it's not the song that his room was playing. So there would just be multiple places with music, and then Jaden really tried to get him to go party hopping. And he should have. I can't remember the name he said, but he said he was like, yo, you want to come with us? We're going to, and he said some celebrity. I can't remember. Oh man, I wish I knew who it was. But they were throwing a party, and the white dude that was with them, he was like, it's going to be lit. And I was like, oh, I wish Kai would go with that. And there was a little bit where he was like, yeah, I'll go. But then he backed up and was like, no, I probably shouldn't. I'm streaming. Plus, he has a whole ass girlfriend, because there were so many girls that would walk over to him and try to like baby trap him. It looked like they would be like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Okay, I said baby trap, but I was looking at that as if he's an NBA player. The way they threw themselves onto him, it was insane. Some girl was trying to hug him. It was all like, I'm famous, you're famous, or like I'm an influencer. I don't want to say famous. I'm an influencer, you're famous. We should get together and we should start a family. And it was very weird. Every single time, Kai would just be like, ugh, and he would just like cringe away. Even if she was a very attractive person, he would still cringe away and be like, I'm good. I'd be like, I respect it. He's a real one for sure. But I was still so weak off it. Because then he met like, I can't remember her name. I know one big person, but I'll say that. I'll save that for whenever I talk about Los. But he ran into some singer that was like, I guess going like popular now, maybe. Like she's getting up there, I guess. But before he met her, Kai met her manager, and the manager was very like kind of douchey, and was kind of like, oh, you should meet my client. You should meet my client. Yeah, y'all should do stuff together. It was just very douchey. And Kai was like, yeah, man, yeah. And he was like, I'm gonna get away from that. And then the artist later, an attractive woman, came up and she was like, oh, what's your favorite song by? And she said her name to be like, what's your favorite song by her? And Kai was like, "Oh man, I don't really know, really." And she was like, "Okay, well, that's do you know who she is?" And Kai was like, "Nah, not for real." And she was like, "Well, that's me." And he was like, "Oh shit!" And then she started to do like a little. It could have been taken as flirting, but it also the chat was just like, "You're an asshole. You ran away." But she said something, and he took it as flirting, which he could have because it was. I mean, it was a little flirty. And he was like, "Nope, can't do it. I got a girlfriend." And then he just screamed and then just walked away. And Stevie was like, "Oh shit!" And he had to follow him. Dude, it was so awkward, so awkward. But that's all those parties are, dude. It's just people going up to people for a fake relationship. And then he ran into Los. And speaking of fake relationship, Charlemagne the God, who on Breakfast Club, there's the woman on what's her name? I knew her name, but now I can't remember. But the woman on maybe Jess Hilarious. I think it's Jess Hilarious. And it's because it's mainly her guy. She has someone who edits her clips or does whatever online stuff for her, gets her stuff popping. That's Los. He was also at this party, ran into Kai Cenat, and tried to play it cool as like a oh shit, like what's up man, like I love your content. This is cool as fuck running into you. Like I'm surprised I'm even here. Blah 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 blah. And he was very cool at first. And then once he got comfortable with Kai, he started to immediately be like, "Yeah, man, my cousin's fucking Charlemagne the God. Uh, I got cousins with," and then he said Jess Hilarious. He was like cousins with Nick Cannon. He started saying all these relationships, and then once Kai in his head thought, "Oh, this man's connected with Charlemagne, uh, Jess Hilarious, Nick Cannon, and who knows who else on that side of the what's their Black Effect. That's how the Black Effect type of content." And he got a little too comfortable because then okay, I will say he would overstep. Like he would do stuff where Kai would be talking to somebody and he would just walk up beside him and be like, "Oh yeah, we're together." And Kai would be like, "We're not together, bro." And then he would see some baddie with which his word. He'd be like, "Bro, look at that baddie." And I mean, bro, he would legit point. But there's a bunch of stuff that was just immediately red flag, red flag, red flag that Kai should have gotten away for this last thing I'm about to say. But he saw some girl and she was bad. She was with her man, potential husband, and she was I can't remember who she was. She was an artist. No, she wasn't an artist. I remember who it was now. It was Simone Biles. I think it's how you say her last name. The fucking gymnast. She was with her man. I guess Los just couldn't help himself. He audibly was like, "Oh my gosh." And then he forced the interaction with Kai and was like, "Oh, Simone, this is Kai Cenat." And Kai was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" But then they was like, "Oh yeah, nice to meet you." Because that's all that party was nice to meet you, nice to meet you, and then keep walking. But then I guess Los was like, "Nah, man, I need a picture with her." So he basically was like, "Hey, look, you want a picture with Kai? You can get a picture with Kai." And they took a picture, her and Kai. They walked over, and he was like, "Well, now that that is in, I'm gonna go and take my shot to get my picture," even though she probably has no idea who this dude is. And so he walked. Kai was like, "Dude, look, don't look. Go ask for a picture, but don't stay too long. Don't be weird." And he did the exact thing he was told not to, bro. He walked over, asked for a picture, and then he just stayed and talked to. I guess he was trying to talk to her man too, and I was like, "Ah, dude, this is so weird," because fucking CB, the cameraman, would just keep pointing back up at him and back at Kai, and then Kai would be like, "Bro, what are you leave? What are you doing?" As he's probably 5'10", not even 10, probably like 5, 6, 7 feet away from him. It was so weird. But then this last thing happened. Los came back to Kai. They were chilling there. At this point, they've probably been there for 5 minutes, just chilling, talking. And You see, he has the CB has the camera on Los's face, and he kind of snaps his head up, and he's like, "No fucking way." And then you see Kai get a little nervous. You see him like, "Oh shit." Looks immediately at Los, and he's like, "Yo, you're not with me. You are not with." He gets so serious. He just flips the switch, and he's like, "I don't know who you are. You are not with me. Don't ruin this. Stand back. Don't even interact with her." He sees Kim fucking Kardashian walk up. And what are the odds out of everybody? Because one, she got him. He got her to do the mafia. The mafia-thon trailer, if you saw that. But the recent stuff with him and Kanye, they, I mean, fucking her and Kanye don't like each other. He's trying to get good with Kanye. That's not how you get good with Kanye. And so he pretty much chose his side at this point, especially with Cardi and stuff too. But he sees Kim Kardashian, and Los is kind of just in the background, just kind of like, oh shit, oh shit. I guess he's gonna try to talk to her as well. But it was such a like she knew he was gonna be there, of course, because the stuff that she was saying was very okay, yeah, not scripted. It's not like it's like why people say celebrities are robots. It was like there was not any genuine call, genuine conversation. It was weird. But then they took a picture, and then another girl hopped in. I can't remember who it was. And then another girl hopped in from the other back. And at the end of it, Kai was in the middle of a picture with four women, and they were all like insanely famous. And he probably didn't realize like half of them even walked into it. But then he walked back over to Los and was like, "Thank you." And Los was freaking out for him, and he was like, "Bro, that was insane." And then he tried to leave because he was like, "This is too much. I have to go. I got to bounce." As he was trying to leave, he got ambushed by paparazzi, but then he loved it because this is what he literally practiced in his hotel room, like the fake slow-mo walk to look good for the camera. And so this was his moment. This was what he was waiting for. And as soon as he started to walk, he did like a drop down. He started to do I guess he was going to do like a break dance or something. His stream crashed. And I was like, "Oh, this man's either this is intentional," and he's like, "All right, bet," or the inside to outside transition, it didn't do good for the connection switching. Something happened to where it just immediately was like a switch. And then it came back up probably, I don't know how many minutes later, but they were in his van, and his security was all beside him. And he was like, "Bro, what the fuck? Y'all didn't see any of that?" I guess he didn't know or anything. I was like, man. It was all so weird. But it made me question even more what happens at an actual Met Gala after party. Because they don't play rich person Uno. That's insane to me. There were people actually there, but they were even like, "What is this? We're just playing Uno?" And the fact that they weren't in on it it's like, come on. I don't know what marketing person you went to get the invites out, but I would assume those people have been to a party that they've been invited to from a celebrity previously, which says they are on a list, which confirms a lot of stuff of what some people are saying about rappers and how they have like handlers to go get their people for them. But hey, that's crazy. Let's see. The controversial topic, should I say that, man? I don't know. I might just wait for that one till like maybe the end. I could do, and I actually remember. But this is just more like because that's my segments for stories. But this is just an overall. Now it's like I don't even know how many years you could add it all together to be when I met him to when we stopped all hanging out. But 4G LTE. If you don't know, now you know. No, I'm fucking. But it was probably. Let me see if I can Oh man, I haven't the picture, I bet still. JP's here today, and I'm off. We're about to do something. Have JP pull up for a guest in the pod. There's been there's been so many, I will say, for a lot of people that I did not expect to even watch the podcast or like watch any content that I put up for like Instagram or anything. I've had probably 6 people be like, "Yo, you should have me be the guest in the pod for your first guest." And I'm like, that would be lit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little scared once they have one person on, that list is gonna cut in half because it's no longer the first guest. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot of people were actually like, "Hey, I'm trying to get on the pod," and I'm trying to think of an easy way to do that. And like, I'm on Mac. Since I'm on a Mac, I can FaceTime, and I feel like I can just FaceTime, put it in the OBS, like right here, and just have their face, and then they see me like you do. I see them like you do at that point. I would be able to catch their voice. That I think that's the easiest way I'd be able to do it for like long distance, or like so just save them to travel, I guess. But if they would pull up, they just get like in the chair beside me. That'd be crazy. Like Luke. If I get Luke Willoughby as a guest in the pod, that would be crazy. Shout out to Luke, man. Have I? Oh, I haven't made Luke a shout out yet. That might be coming soon. Episode, who knows what. Look out. But 4G LTE, man. I was looking for this picture and my ass got distracted. Oh, we were so ugly. This is just the channel of the 4G LTE squad. Drew Pritchett, Isaiah, Joseph, Brandon, Dawson, Logan, Seth. And that wasn't even, we had more people in the group. We just left them off the YouTube channel, I guess. We said fuck them. That's crazy. This is so ugly. Oh my gosh. We had vlogs, man. We made vlogs. Hey, we had a video get 90 views. It was just Isaiah and Joseph dancing. No, this is the last video we put up 8 years ago. A Bean Boozled challenge. That's what we got to do. If I ever get the 4G LTE gang back together for an episode, we have to do a Bean Boozled episode, but the updated version with all the new flavors. Because this is so funny to me. We legit made vlogs, like 9 minutes and 20 seconds. It's got 35 views. That means 35 people watched us be unhinged on a video that's filmed like this. It's not even landscape. It's fucking portrait mode all the way through. And we just went to Subway. That's all we did back then. We chilled. We walked to Taco Bell. We walked to Subway, and we went everywhere. It was insane, dude. The one of them we went to. Oh my gosh, forgot. It's 10 minutes and 23 seconds. Daily vlog number 1. I'm not even gonna say the title, dude, because you're gonna look it up. Holy shit! Wait. How many years ago did Jared get... Bro, Academics just went live? What the fuck? I'm doing the pod, motherfucker. 10 years ago? Okay. Oh, the video is... Subway is the best. Wait, oh, Subway is the best way. That was 9 years ago, and this motherfucker Jared got exposed 10 years ago. That does not look good. So I guess we did not know what we were doing for titles. Oh, man. Daily vlog number 1 is insane. And we had a second vlog, and then a third vlog. And then we did a challenge, and we started the channel with a dance video. We were before our time, okay? We were making content way before, and I'm 10 minutes long, 9 minutes long. Vlog number 2 was, damn, I remember that one. That was, we had the cops pull up on us because we were just in the middle of a parking lot at fucking Kroger, the old Kroger. Those are good times, man. Shout out to the homies for GOTE because that's really what we'd get up, get home from school. We'd just pull up to whatever food spot. We'd get a drink and then just chill. Because once you buy a drink, brother, that's your place to hang out until they kick you out. You just go back and get the free refills. You just go back to Joseph and them. We had the same spot we'd always sit at, and it was in the corner. And they had a little outlet by the wall, so they'd always be able to charge their phones. And we were hooligans, dude. It was crazy. Just running around the restaurant to restaurant. But it was a fun ass time. And I guess like there was a time where I got it was like I can't remember, maybe 20, I don't know what year it was, but the times of the Mono Rover. And I was hype. I was like, yo, this shit's crazy. I'm going around the house. I got it for Christmas. I was like, this is insane. And then my friends came over, Joseph and Brandon and all of them, and they tried it. And there was a night where all of us were hanging out. Well, not all of us, I will say. Because there was very few times where everybody in 4GLTE actually hung out at one place together. And it was mostly at Seth's house. But this moment it was a majority of us, I will say. We were at my house. We were alone. We were just chilling. I think some of them were staying the night. So I was a little, whenever you're the host of the crib, people are staying the night, you have the expectation to make it a good time. And we just got the Mono Rover, and they all learned how to ride it at this point, so I was maybe trying to show off a little bit, maybe. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get on it. And I started to do the whole, like, you stand on it, but you put your feet like this, and you start spinning, because that's how it works. And so I was spinning, and I was like, ha ha ha, but watch this, I got a trick. And then I got still, jumped, did a rotation, and I landed, but it was a little unsteady, but I did it, and I was like, hey, yeah. And I think one of them missed it, but then I think Brandon saw it, and he was like, yo. And then I was like, yo, I could do it again. But this time I felt more confident. So I steadied myself, jump. As I was jumping, I felt my foot kind of like, instead of just jumping up, I kind of jumped like this, where my foot went down a little bit, which makes it move. And so I didn't know where it was at. And so as I was still going though, and I jumped midair, turned around, landed on it to where my foot, like if this is the Mono Rover, my foot was like right here, and my other foot was like right here. And that was just at the point where you cracked. And yeah, I didn't tell my mother for sure. I was like, oh, I fell and broke it. I wasn't going to tell her that I just did a jump and try to show off. But all of them were like, oh, you would think I just broke the TV. You know what I'm saying? This was like the new, like, fucking, the viral thing. It was the Mono Rover of the times. And I just jumped, did a 360 and broke it. And I was like, oh. But look, you could still ride it. But it was so, but like it was not right. You shouldn't ride it. And I was freaking out. I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. So I put it in my room. We didn't talk about it for the rest of the night. Speaking of the Mono Rover and 4GLTE, there was a time where we were going to Taco Bell, and we would always just walk the same route to Taco Bell. At this point, like, I had the Mono Rover, and I was like, I wonder if I could ride this to Taco Bell. And one of them encouraged me to. They're like, you should do it. It was an easy route to go. So we were doing it. And listen, I know these two stories I'm saying aren't making me look like a good person, but I'm explaining myself, man. I'm telling you who I am, and this is how it be. I can't go back to the past and change it. You know what I'm saying? So I just got to live through it and laugh about it because, brother, this shit was insane. And shout out to Brandon. So I'm on the Mono Rover with Brandon and Isaiah. We're walking to Taco Bell. As we're going to Taco Bell, we're on the sidewalk of a main road. Bleep that place out, but main road in our town, and I guess I hit a crack, or I don't know, or something, where I was going down. Okay, it was at the end of, so it was basically at an intersection. I think it was where it was at. I'm pretty sure it was at the intersection. And I hit some sort of bump, and I fell, and I actually fell on the ground. But I got up, because I was in traffic, well, I thought what was, active traffic. I got up and just ran back to the sidewalk, and was like, oh, fuck. Look back. This motherfucker Brandon ran out and grabbed the fucking monorover, ran back and put it back on the ground. And I was like, yo, you're a real one. Good looks, because I was about to let that shit get hit. Luckily, there wasn't a car that was, actively coming. It was a little bit away. So I was just spooked, and I didn't in the moment, I didn't look up to see if a car was coming or not. I just assumed there was one, 5 feet away. Luckily, there wasn't. Oh, my Xbox just turned off again, bro. So shout out to this man, Brandon. He didn't have to go out and just be like, all right, don't worry, I got you. Because I had time to realize, oh shit, I'm stupid, run back out and get it. But I was just so spooked in the moment, and I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Okay, well, I guess I should. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I rode the rest of the way there. I should have just went back and put it back in the crib and then walked back to Taco Bell, but I didn't. That was fun having one of those things though for the crib. But it's like a VR set. It's like once you have it, it's not much utility you get out of it, you know? Some people can because if they can balance on it good, and then because I was pretty good at balancing on it, but there's only so far you can get. You can't go up or down steps. You can't go over a bump that's this big to go outdoors. It's all, I don't know. They were cool at the time though. My mom, yeah, like I said, never told her I broke it. So if she ever sees this, Beth, I'm hoping you're not gonna snitch. But this is probably gonna be the end. So I'm gonna do a shout out to a real one. Dude, actually, okay. I'm gonna say this one thing but I'm not gonna have a topic or anything about it. I'm just gonna say I was watching Backlash from WWE because it's just on Peacock now. If you have Peacock, you can watch a main event for WWE. It blew my mind. I was watching it, and it was John Cena and Randy Orton's last pretty much their last match because it's John Cena's retiring, and it was a big deal. Yada yada. Logan Paul is a part of WWE, and Prime sponsors the WWE. So they have this little side cart of just Prime bottles and a big inflatable Prime bottle. And Randy Orton during the match walked over to that station and picked up a bottle of Prime and took a drink. And it cut away from his face. I guess because they were like, yo, we weren't expecting him to drink any of those. And it showed a clip of him John Cena getting thrown through a table. And then it cuts back to Randy Orton's face and he's like, that's disgusting. Well, I think he said, that's horrible. And then he put it back. And it immediately went viral. Everyone was like, yo, he just shit on Prime. He just shit on Prime. And now I'm waiting on Logan Paul's response to be shitting on Randy Orton and be like, yo, he doesn't like Prime because he's so-and-so. It just blew my mind in the moment that he didn't give a fuck that the camera was on him. And he was like, dude, that's horrible. I was like, hey, I respect it. Yes, sir. But, okay. I had it written down. So I was like, I'd rather just get it out the way. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to a real one, bro. Isaiah. One of the OGs of 4G LTE. He's now a member of the Father Club. He's got a kid. He's out there grinding. Him and Brandon are still hanging out quite a bit. We don't hang out as much. Bro, he is one of the realest motherfuckers I've ever met, probably. And he's also a lot of people in 4G LTE, honestly. They can dish it out, but they can receive it as well. So they can take shots as they're shooting shots. You know what I'm saying? If we roast one of them, he'll I'm trying to think of a good example. And if you, oh, I wish everyone watching this knew Logan. I really do, because there's two sides of the spectrum that you can give for, like, if you're gonna roast somebody, right? You can act like Logan, or you can act like Isaiah. And I love them both. I love them both. Isaiah sometimes will take the shots and will say something that's like actually harsh, but like he probably didn't realize how harsh it was. Logan will take the shots and get mad defensive and be like, "Yo, what are you saying fuck me for?" You know what I'm saying? So love him to death. He's a real one. And that's probably gonna be it for episode 16. Thanks for watching. See you in 17.